You know, when you think of NASA, you think of rockets and you think of technology that just goes up in space, right? But today we're going to talk to people who will tell us how these technologies turn into commercial applications and go to the marketplace. I look at something like this, it's like very fancy. But now I'm going to turn to Howard Ross. Howard, how are you today?
Good to see you.
Excellent. Tell me your title here at NASA.
I'm Chief Technologist here at NASA Glenn Research Center.
Excellent. Well, let's start with what we just looked at, this face mask.
This, which is a metabolic analyzer, simply a way to talk about how people breathe, lung function. We're actually working with Summa Health right now in using this to help them assess when patients are ill with lung function problems. Are they making progress or not?
Tell me what this is really going to do for us.
This is a blade that is a part of a jet engine. We worked with a small business in Cincinnati, Ohio, that came up with a surface coating that makes this particular piece of hardware much more rugged. These can cost $1,000 to $4,000 each, so by having it last longer, you can save $100,000.
Now, you told me before that this blade, if it gets thrown out of an engine, this very lightweight stuff will stop it. I mean, it can be so strong because it's braided. Throw that blade at here.
Okay. You can see it deform,
right?
And it's not breaking through to the other side. We've been able to work with Boeing and have this particular material be the fan case, a composite fan case, replacing aluminum with this lightweight material.
What is this? This looks like a little mouse cage or something here.
So this is
a better mouse trap.
So this relates to that mask you were holding up, a little bit ago. This is hardware that flew on the shuttle and eventually on the Russian Mir space station. And it's the beginning of a story that ends up in that mask that we were talking about. And it all started with a hallway conversation that I had with a few graduate students. Would a candle burn in zero G? What we were able to show, a birthday candle that would burn about 10 minutes here on Earth, burned for 45 minutes. It was round and blue instead of the pointed shape that we're used to.
And now we have something, now even I recognize this. It looks like a tire, but a tire that's going to let a lot of water and stuff through.
Yep, this is affectionately known as the spring tire or moon tire. We worked with Goodyear in Akron. Part coming back to Earth with this one is the fact that it returns most of the energy, it deforms, then gives it back, could lead to better fuel economy.
And I like this idea of this because if it gets better mileage, like you said, then it's going to help me fill up and not have to spend $60.
So you have a little car.
Right, a little car. You have so much to say about how this stuff can be applied, how it can bring together the highest technology with stuff that we see every day.
That's our purpose. It's not just all the work in space. It's actually the money is spent here, the people work here, and the benefits come back to us here.
I'm going to talk to someone else, and he's going to be involved with some heavy kind of magnet type thing. What's your name and title?
My name's Ralph Jansen. I'm the project manager for our Flywheel Energy Storage program here at Glenn. Mm-hmm. What we're trying to do is store energy in a different way than you may be familiar with. Your car or your cell phone or your laptop, they have chemical batteries. We're reinventing a really old idea, basically like the pottery wheel, which mechanically stores energy instead of chemically.
So why is it important to have energy storage?
We're talking about energy storage for big things like your power grid. And when we try to put solar panels and windmills and things like that on the power grid, we can't schedule our sun and our wind because we have these annoying clouds and weather, right? So energy storage can be used to level that out.
So now we're at the Aeroacoustic Propulsion Laboratory. That's a mouthful. But we're going to talk about what it is that this place is really all about with
Dennis Huff. I'm in the Aero Propulsion Division at the NASA Glenn Research Center. We also call it the Dome for obvious reasons. This is a facility where we do jet noise reduction research. This is an example of a Chevron nozzle that we tested on one of our Learjet test beds. And we were able to validate noise reduction we measured inside the dome here was also able to be realized in flight. What happens if we reduce some of the noise from various components of the aircraft? What impact would that have on the noise in the community? And you can see on the left, it's a fairly large contour where somebody might be exposed to a certain noise level. And when you apply some of the noise reduction technologies, that shrinks down, so you have fewer people that are annoyed by that sound. Just recently, over the last couple of years, we've seen 2 different aircraft emerge with these Chevron nozzles that were tested. The very first tests were done here in 1997. Now we're seeing them on larger aircraft like you see up here, is a 747-8, brand new aircraft, just flew last year.
So tell me, Howard, what is the core of what you do here at NASA Glenn?
We're working to keep America's competitive advantage in aeronautics and in space. We have 6 specialties that we work in: materials in extreme environments, power, energy, propulsion, both for aviation and moving across space, advanced communication, and lastly, science experiments in space, as on the International Space Station.
We are making polyamic acid solution.
So one of the things we're talking about is materials in extreme environments. We're going to talk to someone here at the lab that's going to talk about the insulation properties. What's your name?
I'm Marianne Metter. I'm a chemical engineer at NASA Glenn Research Center.
So now we're looking at something that's lightweight but has that insulation property because you said aerogel.
Yes.
So it's a lot of air.
It's a lot of air. This is about 90% air, as a matter of fact. This material is only 10% solid, so it's going to be very poor in solid conduction. So we would be able to demonstrate this. This is at 150 degrees. If I tried to touch this, it would burn me.
But then this lightweight, you put that on there and all of a sudden, you can put your fingers all the way over it.